how in the world can we invest while we have student loan debt? So many people here. And that was your story. You had student loan debt when you finished, and you started investing early. You were at 25 years old when you made your first big investment. Tell us how you got started and how Tesla actually changed the game for you.
Yes. Hey, everyone. Honestly, guys, I come from a Caribbean background where investing just wasn't something that was talked about. However, I had a very ambitious mom that would always try something. There was always an expo or something she would go to about real estate or how to buy this and to do that. And one time she brought me to a stock conference, and she didn't understand what was going on. But it was enough for me to start writing some notes. What is the S&P 500? What is this? What is that? And that was enough to plant the seed, but not enough for me to get started. And then I worked in hospitality, trying to figure out what's my next big thing, and just living in New York. And my manager at the time, he was a huge techie, absolutely loved tech. And at that time, we heard about this little company called Tesla. And what was cool is that he bought one, and he would show up and pull up in front of our hotel with these butterfly doors. And I'm like, what is this? This is not a Ferrari. This is not an island. I don't know what this is. But he told me I should invest in this. This is going to be the future. Now, this was Elon in 2019. It's a different Elon today, okay? Back then, it was all about the innovation, the tech, what he wanted to do for the planet and his cars and how revolutionary they were to the time. And I took half of my check at that time, and literally it did really well in 2019. About maybe 5 or 6 months later, my little investment that I made ended up being 5 figures, and that's how I started investing. Because I said, wait a minute, I've been working all my life, and I've never made so much money so quickly with just investing and planting a little seed into a company that could be the next big thing. And now we're here.
So we're talking about a $10,000 investment that you made back in 2019 in Tesla. And by a few years later, you had a couple $1 million.
I did.
And you're continuing to grow and invest your money.
Absolutely.
A question came up earlier about day trading and investing and how you kind of figure out what your goals are to figure out what type of investor you might be.
Absolutely.
How do you describe yourself as an investor?
Okay, so I have the very untraditional way of the untraditional way of investing. I think a lot of times people, they want you to invest long term for 10 years, and then you can kind of dabble into more shorter term options and trades and things of that sort. That wasn't my story. Why? It's because I didn't have any money. So quite frankly, I heard, quicker money short term, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, because in order for me to invest for 10 years, I'm gonna need something. I don't have anything. But the problem, what happens is that sometimes we get carried away, right? Like, you have a bag of chips, you have the big bag of chips, you're not supposed to eat it all in one night, okay? And that's what happens sometimes with day trading, because it's fun, it feels good, you can make a lot of money. But ultimately, you have to do things in doses, and you have to understand the way of the land. So for me, I started off short term and doing a lot of option trading and doing short term opportunity catalysts, momentum trading, and then I made a good chunk of money, and then I went on to invest in things long term. So that was my story, but in that story, there was a lot of up and downs, right? Because with short term trades, there's risks involved. However, I'm not the one that's going to tell you not to do it. My goal is to let everyone know, if you are going to do it short term, you have to learn the way of the land, right? You can't just...
You have to take the time to study it.
Absolutely.
And that's what Brandon was saying earlier.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not Reddit and X/Twitter is not enough, y'all. You got to do the work to learn it, because it is a really good tool that you can use to make money, especially when different things are happening in the market that you may not want to invest for the next 10 years, but you want to take advantage of that moment, right? I know we talked a lot about, inflation and things of that sort. There's companies that make sense to invest in inflationary times that may not make sense when things are over. You don't want to invest in that in 10 years. You may just want to have it for the next 2 years, and you want to be able to use the best tool within those 2 years And that might be something short term, like an option trade. So it's just knowing when to use these tools and knowing the way of the land of the market.
How do you get started? That question has come up before, and so many people are like, I'm trying to juggle my part-time job, trying to make sure I'm budgeting right, and then you're saying I should invest too. I don't have the money to do that. How do I get started?
Yes, okay. So there's two things. There's the money and the time. So first, let's address the time, because I think that's easy. Y'all, we got the time. When we think about it, how much hours do we spend on our screen time on social media platforms, especially TikTok and Instagram? We have the time. So I think we just have to shift our mindset a little bit. And, let's say like the time that we spend maybe 2 hours or 3 hours on TikTok, rather it's in 30-minute increments, right? Because people are like, I don't spend 2 hours on TikTok. Go on that screen time. You probably do spend 2 hours a day on TikTok. But if you actually switch your mindset a little bit and say, hey, you know what? I do have the time, and you want to make it a priority, there is that. Then the next question is, you guys are in college. It's so funny because we were backstage talking, and I mean, I was in college not too long ago, okay? Just, So I said, where are the kids going? Are they still going to Miami? Because that's where I used to go. And then I tried to think, like, how did I even get the money? And then I thought about it. It's like, I definitely had at least $1,000 or $1,500 to go away on spring break. And then I did the math in my head. So we have spring break and we have winter break. So if you have $1,000 for each and it's 4 years, you guys do the math, that can add up fairly quickly. That's $8,000. $8,000, and that's having fun. But let's say if you, of those 8 breaks, right, that you're not spending $1,000, you're not going away, you're not doing this. What if maybe out of the 4 years you're in school, you took $2,000 or $3,000. Maybe you didn't go away every time. $3,000 in a company like Apple would be a lot of money today. A company like NVIDIA would be a lot of money today. Tesla would be a lot of money today. Even something like e.l.f. Beauty for the girlies, that would be a lot of money today. So we do have the money. It's just we have to be able to learn all the different tools and just look at things a little bit different and
prioritize
differently. Exactly.